Good morning. This is Mrs. Foster. I'm a second grade teacher at Nevada City Elementary, and my second grade students have been practicing reading their books for you. This is our 4th year of reading in the Saluting New Readers program.
Yay!
Once upon a time, a man and a woman lived by the forest. They were woodcutters. Every day they went into the forest, where they worked long and hard. They cut down trees, cut them into logs, and carried the logs home to sell for firewood. But no matter how long and hard they worked, there were times that they did not earn enough money to buy good food to eat. One day while they were working in the forest, they knocked a huge oak tree. That tree is so big that we can cut many logs from it, said the woman. We could sell the logs for a lot of money. The man raised his axe and swung at the tree as hard as he could. No sooner did the axe hit the tree than the man and the woman heard the saddest voice they had ever heard. Suddenly, a tiny woman was standing in front of them. "Oh, please," she cried, "please don't cut down my tree." They were so surprised that they could not say anything first. But finally, they agreed to leave the tree alone. "To thank you for your kindness, I will grant you for the next 3 wishes, whatever they are," said the tiny woman. Then, as suddenly as she had appeared, she disappeared. "She should think carefully about these wishes," said the man. "Yes," agreed his wife. "I think we should go home to carry the wood in." That's so, his wife said. Then they walked some more. Then the woman stopped. "You know," she said, "we could wish for a big house." Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to see the rest of the book, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name's Savannah, and this book is called Sally Ride, Astronaut. The rocket engines roar as Challenger leaves the launch pad. 1.5 million people are at Cape Canaveral, Florida to watch. In less than 3 minutes, the spacecraft is 30 miles long. Soon it disappears from sight. This is the second flight of Challenger. It carries a crew of 5. Aboard is mission specialist Sally Ride, age 32. She is a pioneer, the first American woman in space. Sally Ride is also the youngest American astronaut to circle the Earth in a spacecraft. On the flight deck, Sally Ride sits in the middle seat. She is just behind Commander Robert Crippen and pilot Rick Huck. Mission specialist John Vivian and Dr. Norman Thagard are also in their places. These astronauts team with an important mission. The spacecraft is in orbit minutes after liftoff. Challenger orbits 4 travelers once around the Earth every 19 minutes. In one day, the spacecraft crew orbits the Earth 16 times. There's more important work to do aboard the spacecraft. The astronaut team runs scientific experiments. 2 satellites are put into orbit. Astronaut Sally Ride takes a 50-foot robot arm. This is the first time it has been used in space. On future missions, the robot arm will pick up satellites in trouble and repair them. Then the arm will return them to space. The 5 astronauts complete their mission in 6 days. They have traveled 2.5 million miles. They return to Earth, landing on Mojave Desert in California. About 100 miles from the Mojave Desert is the town of Ankeny. Sally Ride and her youngest sister, Karen, nicknamed Bear, grew up in Ankeny. Her parents, Dale and Joyce Ride, live there. Dr. Ride is an encounter the ensign to the president and superintendent at Santa Helena College. Miss Ride was a teacher at one time. Sally knew she could do anything she wanted to when she was a little girl growing up in the kingdom. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Tyler, and the title of this story is Clara Barton. Clara Barton was 11 years old when her brother David fell off the barn. Doctors said David would probably die, but the little girl said, "I'll take care of him." For 2 years, she took care of him. In 1834, David finally got well. The doctor said Clara was a normal nurse. She had saved her brother's life. Everyone called her Clara. She was the youngest in the family who loved to ride horseback. She would listen wide-eyed to her father's tales of the Indian wars. Sometimes she wept as he told her the wounded soldiers suffered. Both her sisters and oldest brother were teachers. When Clara was 18, she became a teacher too. She met away as she cooped with rowdy boys. She became a great organizer, beloved for her sense of humor. Clara taught school for 15 years. Several men wanted to marry her, but she told them she did not love them. She performed to be independent in 1845. When she was 33, she was excused from teaching. She wanted to work as a clerk in the office in Washington. One of the first women to work in government. It was an exciting job, and she made many friends. Then in 1861, the Civil War broke out. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to listen to the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
My
My name is Robbie, and the title of the story is called Molly the Brave and Me. Molly has guts. She has more guts than anybody in the second grade. She can stand at the top of the monkey bars on one foot. She doesn't mind when Nikki hides dead water bugs in her desk. And if big kids pick on her, Molly tells them to get lost. Molly is so brave. I wish I was like her. Today on the lunch line, Molly said to me, "Beth, can you come to our house in the country this weekend? It is lots of fun there." Wow, I guess Molly really likes me. That made me feel good. But I have never been away from home. What if I get homesick? What if they eat stuff I don't like? What if there are lots of wild animals? I was not sure I wanted to go. I sat at a table with Molly. I said, "Gee, Molly, it sounds neat, only I don't know if my parents will say yes." That night, Molly's mom called my mom. My mom said yes, so how could I say no? It was all set. Molly's parents were going to pick me up on Saturday morning. Friday night, I packed my stuff. Later, my mom tucked me in bed. "I'm scared I'll miss you," I said. "I bet I'll cry all the time. Then Molly will think I'm a big baby and she won't like me anymore." My mom hugged me. "You will have fun, and Molly will understand if you are a little homesick." Then my mom kissed me 2 times. One kiss for tonight, the other kiss is for tomorrow night, when you will be at Molly's house. Molly's parents came early the next morning. I was scared, but I was excited too. Most of all, I did not want to look like a wimp around Molly. So I waved goodbye to my parents and hopped in the back seat. Molly's dog sat between us. "This is Butch," said Molly. Right away, Butch started licking me. I'm kind of scared of big dogs, but I did not show it. No way. I acted like I love getting dog spit all over my face. By noon, we got to Molly's house. It sat all alone. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library. Hi, my name is Yvette, and I'm going to read The Legend of the Blue Planet. Great spirits, the land is dying. Your people are dying too. The long line of dancers sang. Tell us what you have done to anger you. End this drought. Save your people. Tell us what we must do so you will send the rain that will bring back life. For 3 days the dancers danced. The sound of drums. And for 3 days the people called Comanche watched and waited. And even through the hard winter was over, no healing rains came. Drought of famine are hardest on the very young and the very old. Among the few children was a small girl named who is alone. She sat by herself watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made of buckskin, a warrior doll. The eyes, nose, and the mouth were painted on with juice of berries. It were deaded leggings and a father and her and a belt of poisoned bone on its head were brilliant blue feathers from the bird who cries, Jay, Jay, Jay. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
My name is Jacob, and I am going to read Monster Traps. Snarl, splash, plop, eek, crunch. Just how did those bones and footprints come to be in these fossil rocks? Rocks that tell a wordless story lost in time. Sand casts your own fossil clues from a past when monsters roamed and left odd tracks and dinner crumbs in the prehistoric ooze. First gather some feathers, twigs, bones. Fish bones are fun. Seashells, stones, or small sharp rocks to imprint or embed in sand. Along with the interesting assortment of objects, you'll also need enough plaster of Paris to fill a mold, sand for shaping the mold, and a container, a plastic-lined, shallow cardboard box works well. Wet the sand enough so that it keeps its shape when squeezed into a ball. Then pack it into a box. Scoop out the flat area about an inch deep and as large as you want your fossil rock to be. Smooth the surface. You're ready to begin sand casting. To form the mold, you must think in reverse. Holes poked in the sand will stick out. Sunken areas like footprints must be built up in the sand. Textures and other features can be made by pressing different objects into the sand. Seashells, bones, and other objects to be left in sand casting must be pressed face down into the sand. That way they'll rise above the finished casting surface. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
YouTube and then I'm gonna read them.
A long time ago in China, there was a boy named Ping who loved flowers. Anything he planted burst into blooms. Up came flowers, bushes, and even big fruit trees, as if by magic. Everyone in the kingdom loved flowers too. They planted them everywhere, and the air smelled like perfume. The emperor loved both animals but flowers most of all. And he tended his own garden every day, but the emperor was very old. He needed to choose a successor to the throne. Who would be his successor? And how would the emperor choose? Because the emperor loved flowers so much, he decided to let the flowers choose. The next day, a proclamation was issued. All the children in the land were to come to the palace. There would be given special flower seeds by the emperor. Whoever can show me their best in a year's time, he said, will succeed me to the throne. This news caused great excitement throughout the land. Children from all over the country swarmed to the palace to get their flower seeds. All the parents wanted their children to be chosen emperor, and all the children hoped they would be chosen too. When Ping received his seed from the emperor, he was the happiest child of all. He was sure he could grow the most beautiful flower. Ping filled a flower pot with rich soil. He planted the seed in it very carefully. He watered it every day. He couldn't wait to see it sprout, grow, and blossom into a beautiful flower. Day after day passed, but nothing grew in his pot. Ping was very worried. He put Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out on
Hi, my name is Madison, and I'm going to read The Elf and the Shoemaker. There once was a good shoemaker who became very poor. At last he only had one piece of leather to make one pair of shoes. Well, said the shoemaker to his wife, I will cut the leather tonight and make the shoes in the morning. The next morning he went to his table, and he couldn't believe what he saw. The leather was polished, the sewing was done, and there was a fine pair of shoes. Not one stitch was out of place. Do you see what I see? Asked the shoemaker. Indeed I do, said his wife. I see a fine pair of shoes. But who could have made them? Said the shoemaker. It's just like magic, said his wife. At that very moment, a man came in with a top hat and cane. Those shoes look right for me, said the man, and so they were. They were right from heel to toe. How much do they cost? 1 gold coin, said the shoemaker. I'll give you 2, said the man, and away he went with a smile on his face and the new shoes on his feet. Well, well, said the shoemaker, now I can buy leather for 2 pairs of shoes. And he cut the leather that night so he could make the shoes in the morning. The next morning, the shoemaker woke up. He found 2 pairs of lady shoes. They were shining in the sunlight. Who is making these shoes? said the shoemaker. "They are the best shoes in the world." At that very moment, 2 ladies came in. They looked exactly alike. "My, what pretty shoes," said the ladies. "They will surely fit us." And the ladies were right. They gave the shoemaker 4 gold coins, and away they went, clickety-clack, in the pretty new shoes. And so it went. Every night the shoemaker cut the leather. Every morning the shoes were made. And every day more people came to buy his beautiful new shoes. Just before Christmas, the shoemaker said, "Whoever is making these shoes is making us very happy and rich," said his wife. "Let us stay up and see who it is," the shoemaker said. "Good," said his wife. So they hid behind some coats, and they waited and waited and waited. The clock struck 12, and came 2 little elves. "Elves!" cried the shoemaker. "Shh," said his wife. At once the elves hopped on the table and set to work. Tap, tap went their hammers, snip, snip went their scissors, stitch, stitch went their needles. Their tiny fingers moved so fast the shoemaker and his wife could hardly believe their eyes. The elves sewed and they hammered, and they didn't stop until the shoes were all finished. There were little ones and big ones. There were white ones and black ones and brown ones. The elves lined them all in a row. They jumped down from the table and ran across the room and out the door. The next morning, his wife said, "Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to listen to the rest of the story, check it out at your local library."
My name is Michael, and I'm going to read The Simple Prince. There was once a prince who longed to live a simple life. He was tired of idle foolishness and fancy dress balls. So he clapped his hands 3 times to call his servants, "Bring me some plain clothes," he demanded. "I'm going out to the world to live the simple life." The servants found a plain suit and a plain hat as well. The prince clapped his hands 3 times and ordered a simple picnic lunch to eat on his way. Then he rode off to find the simple life. He rode for many hours until at last he came to the house of a poor farmer. "If I cannot live the simple life here," said the prince, "then I cannot live it anywhere." He got off his horse and went to the door. He clapped his hands 3 times. Nothing happened. He snapped his fingers. He tapped his toes. At last he grew impatient. "Open up," he ordered. The door was opened. The farmer looked out. "I have come to live the simple life," said the prince. He walked inside. The farmer stared at his wife. She stared at the prince. The prince did not notice. He went around his nose. What a foolish smile, said the prince. "It's this what comes from living the simple life?" If you want to know how the story ends, check it out at the local library.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. The book I'm reading is A Foolish Tin Rabbit. Once upon a time, a rabbit was asleep under a palm tree. All at once, he woke up and thought, what if the world should break up, then what should become of me? At that moment, some monkeys dropped a coin shell. It fell down on the ground just back of the rabbit. Hearing the noise, the rabbit said to himself, what is all rumbling up? And he jumped up and ran just as fast as he could without even looking back to see what made the noise. Other rabbits saw him running and called after him, what are you running so fast for? Do not to me, he cried. But the rabbits ran after him, beginning to know what was the matter. When the first rabbit said, don't you know? But what is all rumbling up? And on he ran. And the second rabbit ran with him. The next rabbit they met ran with them, and he heard that the earth was all bumbling up. One rabbit after another joined them until there were hundreds of rabbits running as fast as they could go. They passed a deer, called out to him that the earth was bumbling up. Up the deer ran with them. The deer called to a fox to come along because the earth is all bumbling up. On and on they ran, and elephant joined them. At last the lion saw the animals running and heard they cried that the earth is bumbling up. He thought there must be some mistake, so he ran to the foot of a hall. In front of them he roared 3 times. This stopped them, for they knew the voice of kings of earth, and they followed him. Why are you running so fast? Asked the lion. Oh, King Lion, they answered him. The earth is all bumbling up. Who saw it bumbling up? Said the lion. I didn't, said the elephant. Ask the fox. He told me about it. I didn't, said the fox. The rabbit told me about it, said the deer. One after another, the rabbit said, I didn't see it, but the other rabbit told me about it. At last the lion came to rule there, the very first rabbit. The rabbit who had first said, the earth is bumbling up. It is true that the earth is bumbling up, the lion asked. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear this story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Deanna, and I'm going to read Corduroy. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for someone to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning a little girl stopped by. She looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said. "Look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "No, not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the other shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began to scratch everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he stepped onto an escalator and up he went. "Could this be a mountain?" he said. "I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain." He stepped off of the escalator, and as he reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a place," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a place." Thank you for letting me read on TV. And if you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local libraries. Hi, my name is Jason. Title of the page is Mushroom in the Rain. One day, an ant was caught in the rain. "Where can I hide?" he wondered. He saw a tiny mushroom peeking out of the ground in a clearing, and he hid under it. He sat there waiting for the rain to stop, but the rain came down hard and hard. A wet butterfly crawled up to the mushroom. "Ant, let me come in from the rain. I am so wet I cannot fly. How can I let you in?" said the ant. "There is barely room for one." "It does not matter," said the butterfly. Better crawled and let the ant moved over and made room for the butterfly. The rain came down hard and hard. A mouse and ran up. "Let me in under the mushroom. I am drenched to the bone. How can we let you in? There is no room, more room here
Here, just move a little closer. They huddle closer and let the mouse in. And the rain came down and would not stop. A little sparrow hopped up to the mushroom, crying, "My feathers are dripping. My wings are so tired. Let me rain stop." Thank you for listening and read. If you want to if you want to hear the rest, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Kai, and I'm going to read Why Did the Dinosaurs Disappear? Once dinosaurs lived on the earth, then they disappeared. What happened to them? The dinosaurs removed the earth for about 140 million years, then 65 million years ago. They died out, so did many other animals, including animals that lived in the sea and animals that flew through the air. Many plants died too. No one knows for sure that happened, but scientists have some ideas. Some scientists think that new kinds of plants started growing because of change in the climate. Their idea is that these plants poisoned dinosaurs that ate them. Then meat-eating dinosaurs starved to death. Then they could not find plant-eating dinosaurs to eat. There is a problem with this idea. Only land animals would have eaten the poison plants, but sea animals died too. Besides, this idea does not explain why some kinds of plants also died out. Did other animals cause the death of the dinosaurs? Maybe small animals stole and ate dinosaur eggs before they could hatch. These would explain what happened to dinosaurs that laid eggs, but what about dinosaurs that were born live? What about the sea animals and plants that died too? Thank you for letting me read this story. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah, and I'm gonna read this story called Fossils Tell It Long Ago. Once upon a time, a huge fish was swimming around when along came a smaller fish. The big fish was so hungry it swallowed the other fish whole.
The big fish died and sank to the bottom of the sea. This happened 19 million years ago. How do we know? We know because the fish turned to stone. The fish became a fossil. A plant or animal that has turned to stone is called fossil. Scientists can tell how old stones are. They could tell how old the fish fossil was. How did the fish become a fossil? Most animals and plants do not become fossils. When they die, some rot, others dry up, crumble, and blow away. No trace of them is left. This could have happened to the big fish. We would never know it had lived. Instead, the fish became a fossil. This is how it happened. When the big fish died, it sank into the mud and the bottom of the sea. Slowly, the soft parts of the fish rotted away. Only its hard bones were left. The bones of the fish it had eaten were left too. The skeleton of the fish lay buried and protected deep in the mud. Thousands of years went by. More layers of mud covered the fish. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
My name is Jake, and the title of my story is The Dinosaur Who Lived in My Backyard. There used to be a dinosaur who lived in my backyard. Sometimes the dinosaur who lived here, hatched from an egg that was as big as a basketball. By the time he was 5, he was as big as your car. Just one of this dinosaur feet was so big it wouldn't even have fit in my sandbox. My mother says, what if you eat all your vegetables, all grow every strong? That must be true, because that's all this dinosaur eats. I bet he ate 100 pounds of vegetables every day. That's a whole lot of lima beans. The dinosaur was that he would have made my whole neighborhood shake like bumbling. If he jumped, he wiggled as much as 20 packs of trucks. The dinosaur who lived in my backyard was bigger than my school bus. Bigger than my house. He had many other dinosaur friends. Sometimes they played hide and seek. Sometimes they had terrible fights. The dinosaur who used to live here was always to sleep outside every night. Let's a good thing he didn't need to time his way so big he would have needed a circus net to keep him covered. Back then, my dinosaur lived here. My twin was big swamp. This dinosaur needed a lot of water. If he still lived here, we'd have a to keep the puddle on all the time. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Brendan, and I'm going to read Danger. Look out for chairs. They're full of bears. Look out for cakes. They're full of snakes. Look out for ditches. They're full of witches. Look out for boxes. They're full of foxes. Look out for mumble trees. They're full of bumblebees. Look out for telephones. They're full of rattles. Look out for elevators. They're full of alligators. Thank you for listening to me read.
What do you love?
Reading.
Where do you go to school?
NCE.
And what grade are you in?
2nd grade.
And what do you love?
Reading.
Hip hip read.
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 Hip